see, will an officer turn up? There's CCTV there, and that's the building. But will an officer be coming out from there? And if so, will they be friendly or annoyed? That's wonder when they audit the next cop to come out of that entrance. Like people say I'm scraping the barrel, how can I do better on a budget? I go by saying, do what you can with what you have. That's what makes me somewhat skilled, you see. Every time I do an audit, I'm able to notice one more interesting thing that I didn't on the previous audit. Well, it just feels a bit different every time. Hello? But still, they're the police cars. There is the doors. An officer can. Oh God. Lesson learned is do your shoelaces thoroughly. Don't ride in just rely on cheap laces from the supermarket. These things are pesky. I've got to buy another pair of laces now. Oh, come on, this is a horrible task. Oh, come on, obviously wasn't going to go down to France tonight, remember someone saying. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, I've changed orientation. I'm now holding it this way. Okay, now I'm running out of data, so I may have to swap over. Probably should have done this earlier. Hello, evening red shutter photography, evening Hadley. So I'm going, oh God, why is my lens on the wrong side of the phone? Anyway, it's not all phones are made equally, or not easy to use, but here is the handle at Bethel Street Police Station. Note all the blinds are closed, and the public area is closed too. I think personally I'm tempted just to tack this in pretty shortly. God, Hadley, I thought I'd already explained my trans woman and sexual orientation. I thought you asked about gender identity, now sexual orientation. Lesbian, because I'm attracted to women, i.e. cis women. Still. That's the CCTV. That's me. No, I didn't mean that orientation. I mean the orientation of the shot. I change it from portrait to landscape so actually get something in the shot rather than just what's right in front of me. Still, I think I'm just gonna give up. Like, should I just give up now? I've waited 5 minutes and no one's come out. My hand's getting cold. I think I may as well give up and use my alternative recording device to shoot some more. Just give up altogether. Ugh. But still, it's just one of them things. This one can never get what they want here without being incredibly patient. May as well be a bit naughty and film. What's inside? The information. Hi Cyrus, Public Inquiry Officers 101. For domestic abuse victims, NIDAS, NIDAS. Homeless services not readable. Knowledge street aid, a map. And that's pretty much it. All this not accessible behind the closed automatic doors. But that's the house of the Public Inquiry Officers anyway. There's a map. There's some notice very important for bail immigration, yellow phone, firearms licence inquiries. Another map, some homeless services. No dogs apart from guide dogs, no parking or toilet facilities. That's the inquiry office. That's the phone, there's the post box. Still, red shutter photography. Don't worry, it's fine. Still, red shutter photography. Can I ask you what does the term you're using, red shutter, mean? Does that mean you use a filter when you take pictures? I have a film camera. I've tried a few different films. They come out with different effects. May need to post some pictures. Still, let's go and wait here and see what happens. Too bad they don't have a service support ex-prisoners freedom. Like, prison is pretty much institutionalised domestic violence for men anyway. For male prisons anyway. Oh, it's ridiculous that, as Carl Catamol puts it, when you leave prison, you're dumped on public property with just, at most, £46, and that's it. I see, name your company, thank you. So still no officers. How much longer should I wait for an officer to come? Also, shout out to Dale Reed. He found friends to stay with for tonight, so he's not that dumb as I thought. Like, if he's not just sleeping rough, hoping that, hoping nothing really. I mean, at least he's not having to sleep rough every night because no one will have him in ever. Like, all I'll say is that, here's the question for you viewers. Should I keep trying to educate him on not going to prison, how he needs to behave? Should I educate Dale to avoid getting sent to prison? Or should I just let him sort his own problem out? At the end of the day, him wanting to go to prison, having committed a crime recklessly, that he knows will probably get him put there, it's just his problem, not mine, isn't it? Yeah, by orientation, I meant the orientation I'm holding the phone at. But still, I think you're right, Red Shutter. No, not to bother you now. About time they left you alone. They left me alone. Yeah, I think I'll call this a pass. But But I didn't even want them to come out and hassle me. I just wanted to come out and say, by coincidence, say we exchange hellos, and that's it. I actually want one to come out just so I engage the tone of the conversation, though. I don't just want to be left alone. I want one to coincidentally come out here for a chat, but my hand's freezing. Look, there's my hand, frozen. It's Prince Andrew here. So I'm just going to retreat back to Castle Quarter. But seriously, what else can I do in Norwich at night apart from film myself having a drink in one of the bars? Like, that seems like the most sensible option. In fact, what I'm going to do now is head to... Don't mind, I'm fine. I'm just having a meltdown. Sorry, I'm just going to... Ow, my hand. Hold the phone. Stim. Just... be a bit stressed out. As I head down to... the castle. Thingy. To be fair though, it wasn't... Not if you become an alco, it ain't. It's finished, so I'm gonna go on to Castle. Well, to be fair, it wasn't the camera that got me in prison, it was breaching the bail by protesting. But I suspect the same behaviour would lead to the same consequences. Obviously, I'm not willing to be an experimental lab. Like, I've got... Well, the problem is, I have enough of my own cool stuff to deal with without people's experiments for them. Gosh. Or shall I go to Brewdog? But yeah, Linton, a few years ago, there had been different response filming cops in the street, their cars in the station. I had a Metropolitan officer threaten me with having the phone seized in an attempt to squeeze my details out of me. Which worked because I forgot about my rights. Wasn't concentrating, didn't think to exercise my rights. More story, if they threaten phone seize where you get your details out, saying no, until you seize the phone, I'm not giving you my details. Or ask for a lawyer, or do your research in advance. Generally they can't unless they believe you've got evidence of a serious enough crime. But that won't typically be necessary, proportionate, unless the offence is one that can be tried before a jury in the Crown Court. I should have been sent to prison. It's a morally subjective thing. Like, I can see why it happened. Like, if you breach bail conditions repeatedly, there's a certain line where you'll get sent to prison. Like, the first time, I can kind of understand. But it wasn't just 2 fingers, it was being in a prohibited area that caused that. Although I don't agree with it, like, the idea of bail conditions that restrictive being imposed in the first place, as well as the CBO, is something that's open to scrutiny. But I don't think it should have been. Personally, I think remand for breaching bail ought to be drastically scaled back. Some people will go further and advocate for abolishing conditional bail, but the problem with abolishing it is what you do with people who can't be released if bailed unconditionally. You obviously wouldn't trust them not to do something silly like flee the country, fail to surrender, go around their mate's house otherwise make themselves scarce or untraceable, therefore frustrating criminal proceedings, but who shouldn't be remanded, but don't need to be remanded as an absolute necessity. Like things like remand should be made only in cases of necessity. Like you can justify remanding someone. Like if you have a lot of evidence against someone on murder charges, and they have violent offences on their record, and they're now charged with murder, then there are multiple reasons you justify remanding someone on a murder charge where you've done it before and or you have strong evidence. Especially if you have strong reason to believe, they'll do it again. Some would say fair enough. But what about someone like me, who's charged with breach of lay? Maine would say you can't release everyone on condition. Okay, I'm now having to think. Well, that was embarrassing. Hello. Toilet audits are my favourite. Hello. What do you mean by that? Yeah, I got remanded. First time was breaching bail. Second time was breaching bail. A lot of people intentionally harm others and don't get sent to prison. Sending a harmless person to prison is a vile concept. In that case, bail conditions shouldn't be applied. But here's an example. What if someone's accused of armed robbery with a machete? Would you want that person with no conditions whatsoever able to, for example, let's say they're also accused of drug dealing, would you want that person being able to legally loiter outside the high school, even the primary school, and potentially be selling drugs to your kids, or worse? Sounds like a balmy idea. Especially the offences relate to educational institutions. Pretty sure most people could understand bail conditions in extreme circumstances. You might not want someone who could be entirely innocent being remanded straight off to prison either. Sometimes you need conditions on bail. Sometimes, though, you don't. I agree, imposing even bail conditions on a harmless person is still a vile concept in the first place. Never mind, send them to prison. Like, you wouldn't want to give it to foreign criminals, not necessarily. Impose conditions on them. Like, for example, make them pay up cash and give in their passport, and give them some kind of temporary ID document to make it harder, and make them pay cash up front as a condition of bail. They'll lose if they flee. You might be able to entice them to show up. You might need other conditions, like even a tag and curfew, or at least a residency requirement. But to make blanket statements that not wanting people on bail doesn't apply. Obviously, impose conditions, you can justify granting bail to just about anyone. Lol, toilet audits, love it. Okay, well, if you don't mind your kids using drugs, but as someone who's formerly been in youth work, some parents would mind finding their kids have been using heroin or hard drugs like that. Hell, a lot of parents wouldn't want their kids turning up home stinking of weed. I can understand why. Even soft drugs on kids are no-no. Ideally, anyway. Of course, I'm not for criminalising kids. I remember back when I was in high school years ago, kids getting away with worse than a bit of weed, getting away for an assault, and the police never called because they were seen as always an internal issue. sometimes even disciplinary shouldn't happen if the kid had apparently genuine circumstances. So personally, I don't use disability as an excuse for unacceptable behaviour. It might be an excuse for behaviours that may be considered criminal, like breaching a CBO, but this is like autism, not an excuse for plain old being an ass. I mean, some of my behaviour was being an ass. Well, let's agree to disagree. But okay, let's say, even we set the drug from the side, would you want someone accused of, say, armed robbery of a Tesco? Let's say if you weren't with your kids to protect them, if your kids are going to that Tesco on the way home from school to buy some bubblegum, would you want that armed robber in the store for your kids? Potentially not, then bail conditions will become necessary to protect the public at some point. Like, it depends on the crime. Like, if someone's accused of violent crime, imposing bail conditions someone's a lot more reasonable than it is for completely non-violence and victimless administrative infractions, where many people argue the order shouldn't remain in the first place, and therefore the person should definitely not be even on trial in the first place before a jury and crown, let alone before a jury and crown court. But it does depend, is the point I'm making. Of course, what I'm trying to say is I agree, if they're a danger, then bail conditions obviously are less restrictive than remand, so definitely not only justified, definitely a good thing compared to the only alternative. But with me, yes, same person as I've already told you, I agree I was never a threat to anyone. Apart from maybe some gluten-free cookies, that was it. Hi, here I am. Yeah, I'd say it was still ridiculous, like the bail conditions shouldn't have even been imposed. Okay, you've gone. Well, I was in the loo, Hadley. But yeah, being jailed for being a bit difficult is the term I prefer, to be fair. I prefer not to use autism as an excuse. Like, different people do have a different standard on how they view my actions. Some people say I was morally in the right, some people say I was morally in the wrong. According to the jury trial, though, the jury feel you're in the right generally. Okay. About the prosecution assertion about well, I mean, because the court didn't care about prosecution assertions, you often get off ground because the jury didn't care. You may have broken the law, but why should we convict? Magistrates court, if you're guilty, you're guilty. So that's why, where more you feel being right is, morality trumps legality. That's the advantage of a Crown Court trial. That said, don't let your lawyer talk you into stupid actions. Won't name names, but the lawyer I had, he knows who he is if he's watching. Still, I'm not sure what to do this Saturday night. All I will say is that bail conditions obviously shouldn't have been imposed in my case. Reminding me was over the top, but abolishing bail conditions will never work because you'll get that favour. But you can't just set free unconditionally, but you can't just remand them into custody either. And for that case, that's why we have bail conditions, allowing that offender to be dealt with so much easier. Having to pick one inappropriate option versus another, you can run bail, but state these are your conditions. If you wish to avoid getting arrested, basically, don't take this, don't get caught. Shout out to Danny Shine. But yeah, I believe it may be in London on Monday, I'm not sure. But we'll have to be in Norwich on Tuesday. I'll make a video then to update you on the outcome of my case. £8, so what I'm going to do is end this video here anyway to save battery, and that'll be it. Thanks and goodbye.